What's up, YouTube? This is your girl, Megan. Welcome back to the Hood Astro Queen, to all of my returning subscribers. However, if this is your first time joining me on today, be sure to hit that subscribe button because you know you want to. No pressure though, but you know you want to. And before the season gets away from us, I want to talk about Capricorn Exposed. Now, like I always say in all of my exposed videos, I am speaking more so to the archetype of this particular sign. Of course, people could be included in this depending on what placements you have, be it your Capricorn sun, moon, rising. If you just have prominent Capricorn or Saturn based energy in your chart, this could, or you may or may not be able to connect with some of these personality and psychological profiles. Okay, so I don't want to hear people in the comment section talking about how they're the exception to the rule, or nah, my mama a Capricorn, my daddy a Capricorn, I'm a Capricorn, you don't like Capricorns, why be? We're talking about the good, the bad, the ugly of the archetype. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Capricorn is a cardinal earth sign, meaning that these people are very good with directing and initiating new ways and new states of being. This actually is one of the qualities that makes them excellent leaders. Capricorn is also a feminine sign, despite the fact that it is normally associated with masculine energy, as it can point towards the condition of the relationship with the father or an elder. Also, even like the dominant parent or a dominant parental figure. And that actually could vary, but more often than not, it's associated with the father. And this is because the father rules with an iron fist. The father represents tough but well-intentioned love. However, dark side Capricorn can be downright mean, pessimistic, and cruel. And a lot of the darker manifestations of this energy signature can create a person who is just downright sadistic and or even masochistic and enjoys kind of imposing power or their will over weaker or people they consider to be weaker and more damaged people. However, the higher vibrational side of this energy serves to provide guidance, wisdom, assign responsibility, set boundaries, rules, and guidelines. And if you get out of line, they don't mind discipline. Capricorn doesn't mind to discipline you. Saturn doesn't mind whooping your ass and getting you back in line in order to teach you a lesson. So even taking this concept and applying it to just a more situational based theory, wherever you find Capricorn in your chart or Saturn in your chart is going to be the area of life where you take an ass whooping more often than not, where you have to undergo some very difficult, challenging, testing, either limitations or life experiences. Capricorn is symbolized by the goat on the mountain, right? And the mountain representing the obstacles, as Capricorn does deal with struggle, quite literally. And when you think about the plight of the goat on the mountain, right, it requires a lot of calculation. I don't know if you guys have ever climbed a mountain, but that shit is pretty fucking hard. These goats are designed, they're built to climb these steep ass mountains with jagged edges and to leap literally to what could essentially be their deaths. It's a very huge and serious undertaking, but they do it so effortlessly. This what makes Saturn very durable and reliable during adversity. Capricorn or Saturn could also deal with where there are going to be a lot of difficulties, but even delays, as Saturn does represent time. So you can even look at that as gaining the life experience, learning things the hard way. When you learn things the hard way, right, a lot of times you come to your senses of learning the lesson a little bit later than other people. Now, the good thing is that Saturn never denies its children. It only just delays them. So at the end, when you finally get to where you need to be, I mean, you'll get there. And this is another reason why Capricorn, depending on where it's placed in the chart, can even point to where you're kind of a late bloomer. For example, I've had clients who were like 25-year-old virgins with Capricorn in the fifth. Capricorn occupying your house of sex and recreational activity, dating, like that could absolutely produce a person who kind of shows up a little bit later to the party than most. Now, obviously, there are other factors that can be evaluated when making that assessment, but Saturn or Capricorn's presence in the fifth house can definitely manifest in a delay in sexual activity. Capricorn also deals with solitude, so you could even also look at that as a lot of time being spent alone, quite frankly. Okay, these people might not be the type of people who need constant gratification while dating, like maybe a Gemini or somebody with Mercury in the fifth house, where it's just constant. You need to be constantly stimulated, constantly entertained, and it is very light and touch and go. Capricorn is very much about seriousness. So when I actually do decide to commit with Capricorn in the fifth, it's a serious commitment, or just that Capricorn energy in general. These people are very intentional about their actions and the things that they do. And they kind of move at their own pace, kind of similar to Taurus, but they take things very seriously, okay? And that could also manifest in lots of time alone when, talking from a dating perspective, or just in general. Especially I've noticed women, Capricorn moon women, oh God, they could be single for years and years and years. Years. Me, myself, with a Capricorn North Node. That's part of my karmic destiny. Now, Capricorn also does deal with karma. It deals with you bearing the consequences of your actions. And with karma, it's not always necessarily about actions that have been taken in this lifetime. Karma deals with far-reaching past life trauma and debt. Saturn is like a soul contract from a past life that pretty much spells out what area in life you have to struggle for. You have to work hard for. What area of life that you might have to, like I said, learn the hard way. And it's something that can't be avoided. You can't get around it. Think about your responsibilities, your duties. That's very much Capricorn and very much Saturn. You can't get around it. You have to go through it. So looking at what house Capricorn is occupying in your chart, looking at what planets you have in the sign of Capricorn, and looking at the sign that your Saturn and what house it's placed in is going to be very important in figuring out your kind of karmic contract. What type of things were you kind of just destined to experience and have to learn your lesson in order to ascend to the next level. Capricorn deals with the test of life. It deals with disappointments. It deals with getting experience, which can delay fruits of labor. Capricorn can also deal with fear, which is why you can also tell by where Capricorn is placed in the chart, as well as Saturn, the condition of Saturn, what could be like a subconscious underlying fear for a person. Now, shifting gears just a bit, Capricorn also deals with working hard. This is why a lot of Capricorn people or Saturn dominant individuals have a reputation for being, on the darker end, just straight up relentless, but on the more positive end, very ambitious, determined people. These are people who have no problem taking their destiny into their own hands. Now, the saying goes, to whom much is given, much is expected. And that definitely embodies and encapsulates the energy of Capricorn, as just as Capricorn is karmically required to struggle, put in the work, go to the school of hard knocks, bump their heads on certain issues in life. The harder you work towards something with Capricorn, the greater the reward will be. And that's where you can unlock that second phase of that Capricorn energy, which is all about acknowledgement, recognition and worldly achievement. And this is why, with Capricorn being the natural ruler of the 10th house, a lot of Capricorns, they are motivated by external factors, worldly factors, how well they are appreciated for the things that they do, how well that they are celebrated, or how much they are celebrated for the things that they do. And this could come by way of material items, right? So being rewarded with money, and this could even lead to your darker sided Capricorn, who is very materialistic, very much tied into a lot of the more superficial things of life that can be associated with status. And also the Capricorn that is attracted to power. And taking it back to examples of this, a lot of Capricorn women, I've noticed, dark side Capricorn women, you do have the types that will definitely date men of means, and kind of even the way they navigate their friendships or navigate their lives is based off of this streak of opportunism. And that's just, Capricorn in general. But I notice definitely with Capricorn women who fit that shadow side archetype, they can be very materialistic. An example of this is Nicole Murphy. She was born on January 6th. She actually has the same birthday as my mother. And I mean, y'all seen the scandals. I mean, she's the ex-wife of Eddie Murphy, and she has gone on to date. She's made a career out of dating rich men. Or Keisha Kaur. Okay, y'all go check out my Keisha Kaur and Gucci Mane birth chart reading that I did. But I was discussing the fact that with her even being a Capricorn as well, she definitely fits that materialistic type. Always showing off her new Rolls Royce, Bentley, Beamer. Like, it's just always something. Always flashing her jewelry. They have matching his and hers new convertibles, new rings. It's just like the outfits are grand, over the top. It's a lot. She's definitely a dark-sided Capricorn. Now, you also have the other Capricorn who on the flip end of that energy encompasses more of that Saturn-based influence. And with Saturn dealing with restriction, conservatism even, these people can be cheap as hell. Trust me, okay? I've dated a Capricorn who just so happened to be, number one, in the military, which, Capricorn is the sign of the military, but he was cheap as fuck. He was so fucking frugal. And, back in my city girl days, before, I got on my little mature kick, I was very much, what are you going to do for me? And I guess you should. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm like, oh, baby, this is so not going to work out. Like, I can't do this. You going to spend some fucking money on me. Same thing with women, who embody more of that Saturn-based Capricorn energy. They can be very bland, very dry, very, these women are not known for their fashion. They can be very, just blah looking, very plain. Especially a person with, let's say, their Venus in Capricorn or something like that. Sis is not going to be the type to be slaying the scene with her fashion. And these people will wear the same thing or the same type of outfit every day. They are okay with, just eating plain meals. Very almost even militaristic, which is very interesting given Capricorn's association with the military. Almost very routine and militaristic in that sense. They can really channel that earth-based practicality. Capricorn can be very determined and persistent, but also unyielding. And this can also result in some physical setbacks, diseases. Bone decay. Capricorn deals with the bones. I've also seen a lot of Capricorns deal with lots of acne, very bad acne, because Capricorn also deals with the skin. Now, almost all Capricorns, regardless as to whether you're the more minimalistic type of Capricorn or the more superficial and power hungry, worldly type of Capricorn, they care and place a lot of value on their reputation. My mother used to always tell me, If you don't have anything else in life, you have your reputation as very Capricorn. One of their biggest fears in life is coming off incompetent or placing themselves in situations where they could lose face, be embarrassed, or even lose respect. Capricorn deals with respect. Once again, that 10th house influence dealing with the way that you're kind of being perceived in the world, the way you leave your mark on the world, your legacy, the way others view you. And even keeping it in the same vein of Capricorn and Saturn representing the elder. You respect your elders, or you want to earn the respect from your elders. So as a result, a lot of Capricorns can be they put on for appearances. I've noticed there are a lot of Capricorns who only want to show themselves in a certain way. And with them being the opposite sign of Cancer, right? Cancer sitting literally directly across in that 4th house, dealing with internal family matters, domestic affairs. They harbor a shadow side that is usually only revealed to family, like immediate family, people they live in the home with, right? That Cancer energy, things that only take place in their bedroom. And I've seen this manifest in a lot of Capricorns, treating the people in the public one way, right? Being one way around friends and just people you casually interact with, and then being a completely different person when you get home, being mean as shit to your family, but being nice and sweet and super like cordial and respectable and playing respectability politics. That's Capricorn with the outside world. I watched my mother do that for years. Our household internally was a hot fucking mess, but you best believe at a family reunion, at a public function or meet and greet with her peers, her friends, her colleagues, it's completely different narrative. I also have a cousin who actually was born, her birthday was yesterday, by the way. She's a Capricorn, and despite us growing up together, being so super close, she would never tell me her personal business. And it's not that I'm entitled to your business, but you just kind of assume when you're super close with someone, certain things you would just expect to share and confide in each other about certain things without shame, And she would never share any of her, to this day, would never share hardships, trials, struggles she's gone through with me. I would have to hear it from family members, but she never tells me anything, very much I'm protecting my image. I'm protecting the way that I look type of thing. The worst thing you can do to a Capricorn is embarrass them or try to devalue or deface their name. Now, another great example of this is Nicki Minaj. She's a Capricorn Mars, and the situation that she's been in for like the past few years where the public narrative has worked against her and kind of turned their back on her, and her standoff with Cardi B and these other artists who have come out to say Nicki has stopped my bag, and people trying to discredit her name. She doesn't take that lightly, being a Capricorn Mars. These people can be straight up workaholics, especially as it pertains to, playing politics within the workplace, or somebody trying to discredit their legacy as far as their careers are concerned. These people tap into that negative or lower vibrational, relentless Capricorn energy so fucking fast when it's time to defend what they feel like is their reputation and their pride. These motherfuckers will fuck you the fuck up. Okay? If you're a Capricorn or have strong Capricorn placements, you can relate. A lot of people they can be very tolerable about certain things, but to a Capricorn, what you won't do is make me look bad. They don't take too kindly to that. Another manifestation of the well-intentioned, tough-loving father or elder is viewing the world through a glass is half empty type of mentality, I guess you could say. Capricorns can be grade A cynics, and they're the type of people to tell things like they are without the rose-colored glasses that a lot of people tend to wear. Capricorn deals with reality. And this could translate into depression if it's on the darker end of the spectrum, which is why Capricorn is the sign of depression. I've noticed a lot of people, especially with their Saturns in Capricorn, but even Capricorn sun moons, sometimes ascendants too. We could say ascendants because the ascendant can affect your health. But depression, for sure, could be a huge issue. They could also be wet blankets, the people who kind of just rain on your parade. But to a certain extent, it's kind of a admirable quality to be able to accept things the way they are and not try to wish or hope away situations that can only be fixed with acceptance. And this is why a lot of Capricorn North Node individuals have one of their karmic duties, right? One of the regulations in their soul contract, so to speak, is coming face to face with their own mortality. The fact that we aren't going to live forever, as Saturn in Capricorn can also point towards death. Saturn grooms you for excellence. It teaches you to look for guidance within. And a part of the reason that is such a strong lesson or a strong theme is because Saturn in Capricorn deals with discipline, and not necessarily just the punitive type of discipline that you get for not abiding by the rules, or even having certain type of unpaid karmic debts. It's a type of even self-imposed discipline. That's why these people can be very structured, like I said, disciplined and organized people, very task driven, very focused, and they don't mind delaying, once again, delay with that Saturn theme, delaying self-gratification, okay? Putting off things that they would normally take pleasure or find pleasure in for a later time and date while they get the work or put in the work in the meantime. So a real life example of this would be a person with, even taking it back to Capricorn moons or Capricorn in the second, maybe even Capricorn in the sixth house, Capricorn Venus individuals who do really well with losing weight. Okay, these people can stick to a regimen. Once again, that militaristic type of energy there, right? Doing the same thing day in, day out. They don't really have to, go out of their way. Constricting and restricting themselves comes quite naturally. Also, in that same vein of discipline as far as punitive punishment, which is why I always mention Capricorn dealing with the law. What is one of the greatest forms of punitive punishment in our society? It's the police. And when I say the police, I don't mean the police officer, the community officer handing out speeding tickets. We're talking about the highest law of the land. Capricorn deals with law and order. We're talking the FBI. We're talking people who punish you. We're talking the death penalty type thing here, like where no expense is spared in teaching you a lesson, no matter how cruel, how, like I said, just straight up sadistic and out of proportion and harsh the punishment is. Capricorn deals with harshness. You're going to pay. You're going to pay for whatever transgressions that you've made or for violating a pre-existing contract, the rules, the law. When it comes to society, our laws are based on pre-existing contracts that was kind of agreed upon by a certain group of people. Okay, a group of people who reign from the top of the hierarchy. That's that Capricorn energy, which is why Capricorn also deals with capitalism. Capricorn also does great with mentors. So in that same vein of blending with the elder, these people could be old souls themselves or just have a lot of older friends. They could even date older partners, especially a woman, let's say with her Mars in Capricorn or something. A man with his Venus in Capricorn or even a Capricorn moon could definitely gravitate towards older women. Now, another negative manifestation of Capricorn energy is them being control freaks. They can be quite unrelenting, once again, that word unrelenting, with the things, or even unyielding with the things that they want. And they don't, or some of them don't mind stepping on people in order to get there, using people or situations as just collateral damage in order to get the things that they want. They can also be grade A skeptics, and that kind of ties back into the vein of them pissing on everybody's party. They can also become gluttons for punishment and relish in the idea of making people pay. They can also be quite old-fashioned in nature, once again with Capricorn dealing with conservatism. They can be very much traditionalists. And a lot of their relationships, especially when we're talking Venus and Capricorn, can be kind of transactional. And that also ties back into the theme of them having a very opportunistic type of streak. Venus in Capricorn, I mean, these could be people who only hang around. I mean, even when it comes to friends, like, I'm only going to deal with you if it's a certain look, or if there's something, somehow, some way I can benefit from, or if it coincides with what's on my agenda. They're kind of subconsciously always programmed to create an empire or like a brand. Even if you're just a regular everyday person, creating your brand, you could bag groceries at Publix and still brand yourself. The way that you show up in the world, the way that you prefer people to see you and address you. All of that is very much, like I said, tying back into Capricorn in their 10th house placement of like caring about what things look like. And then finally, Capricorn also deals with history. So as a result, these people could be very much into like historical facts, vintage items, collectible items, old things that could be very reminiscent and nostalgic when thinking about the past. Another good example of this is back in December, I believe, new moon was transiting my Capricorn North Node. And during that time period, I could not stop watching biographic documentaries, like historical documentaries on very specific eras in time. And this is where I got the inspiration for my video on the crazy motherfucker from Nazi Germany who used to perform twisted, warped medical experiments on children. I watched a lot about Hitler, and I was very much consumed with that like World War II Germany type of era. I also went through a phase where I was kind of obsessed with monarchies. So studying Queen Elizabeth the First and the Second, and all of the King Henrys, and all of the people from the Royal British monarch. So, there's that. So, with that being said, this concludes my video on Capricorn Exposed. Y'all drop down in the comment section and share your experiences. Whether you are a Capricorn or you have many Capricorn placements, Saturn dominant, let me know. Share. And as always, make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And until the next video, I holla.